Hello, dear Excellency, Madam, Sir. My name is Thea Portman, and I'm spreading this message in great despair. I've not prepared a speech for this. My speech, my message, comes from my heart. And if I occasionally get confused and press pause, it's because I'm collecting my thoughts. So please bear with me. I have suffered very traumatic childhood and growing up years with my primal family, and I moved into London when I was 20, where I spent 14 years emotionally and psychologically developing myself into a person I wanted to be. So, but when I came home, my parents started to gaslight me, treated me really not very nice. It's a very polite way to say it. And my mother even suggested, she said, why don't you go to psychiatry to chill? No mother who loves their child would send their child to a psychiatry department to chill unless she wanted, unless there was a hidden motive behind it. And now I know that she did that, so if I see or hear anything that I'm not supposed to, she can say, oh, she's a mental patient, she's been to psychiatry ward. And that's exactly what happened. Now, move many years forward, because I really don't want to be too long. This message is really about, I've been traveling for about a year now with my two dogs. That's Philip, Ellie, and that's Ella, without whom I wouldn't want to be alive. They are my rock, they are my soul, they are my goal, they are my life. I treat them as they're my children. I'm not always nice, like, if they do something wrong, I will tell them. And sometimes I will tell them loudly so they understand. But despite that, if I feel I wrongfully accused them of something or did something, or I was too loud, or was unfair, I do apologize to them. I know they may not understand, but at least they know I love them. And I love them so much. They've been assigned to me by medical professional through other medical experts that they are my therapy dogs. And I had the original, before I went to travel last year in November, before I took the original with me, and then I took a screenshot of the original, and then I Google translated the screenshot into English. So when my original was stolen with lots of money and the medical card and the bank card, which stupidly enough I didn't report, because I know who did it. So I printed out the two screenshots that I had saved on my telephone. I printed them out, and every time a bus or train driver needed a proof that they are assistance dogs, I would show them the certificate and everything would be fine. We not always gotten on a bus, but that was in France. Germany was no problem. Germany is it's heaven for dogs. Seriously, they have very strict laws. But the way Germans treat their dogs, when I was in the hospital, and it was about between 8 and 10 days, I was in Haar. The dogs were in a close by shelter, and I had to pay for them 800 euros. And while they were in the shelter, I was released from the hospital. I didn't have that money because police during that time raided my car, and I had to pay 500 euros, and they laughed at me. They didn't apologize, and they knew I was in the hospital. They had my number on a windshield, and they didn't call me. They could have notified me. They could have removed their car and saved me 500 euros. But no, they're what's the word? I'm sorry, I have to think of the word. Their objective was to drain as much money from me as possible. And that's another reason Shelter charged me 800 euros. They could have said, look, I know we leave hard, we let it sleep because we have other dogs. Government pays us money to run the shelter, etc., etc. No, they wanted 800 euros from a homeless woman. Okay, so I went onto the streets offering my services as a tutoring, as an English teacher, and in about a week I put together 800 euros and brought my dogs back to me, which can only show you that I will do anything for them. I will do anything for them. And people were some people were very supportive, some people were fake. And about those fake people, I don't want to talk about right now. So we traveled from, also in Germany, our car broke down, and I was told the gearbox was completely gone. But I was still able to drive from Germany to Paris, switching gears. How stupid of me that I didn't think that myself. Because when we got to Paris, we got a taxi from the central Paris to where we had our car. Our car was parked in Champigny at the Leclerc parking lot, and to my surprise and acknowledgement, the taxi driver was also a mechanic, and he said he's going to inspect the car and see if he can help me. So he says, no, it's only a clutch. It's not working. That's going to cost you a few hundred euros and you're off. But we exchanged the numbers. He promised me he's going to call me tomorrow. I said, you promised to God. He never did. And that's what happens with every genuine person I have met in the last 8 years. Good people never came back. Only the ones that were trying to cause me trouble, pain, heartache, and just causing chaos and damage. So So from Paris, where obviously I didn't have enough money to pay, not even a few €100, I decided to buy a tent, pack up only the necessities, and continue traveling with my dogs to Spain. The thing is, not a single day was problem free. Not problem, me causing problem to other people, but vice versa. There was always something. Every hour, every couple of hours, somebody would try and cause me pain, or uneven me, or being very unfair, or being unpolite, to be very polite, or be verbally aggressive, or just people just plain lying to me, including Leclerc. I was not, as a first category disabled person, I have multiple disabilities, and I'm using a walking aid. I'm just going to show you. I'm using this. For a long time, I was okay. In Paris, I got so much better, that I stopped using the walking aid, and we would walk around without this. And but every time I would leave my dogs off leash, there were people passing by. Not everybody, just from time to time, taking videos. And that really, really upset me, because I didn't know what you're gonna have the video. If the dogs are beautiful, present me an offer. So an offer of, I don't know, advertising dog food, or how beautiful the dogs are, etc., etc. But just the expression on their faces was so mischievous. Like, I'm gonna get you with this one. It wasn't a nice feeling. So that's been going on really for 8 years now. And throughout the whole year, since last November, through every country, I heard somebody say, oh, they're going to take their dogs away from her. When we got to Spain, when we were in Barcelona, a shopkeeper attacked me because I opened a beer can in a shop, and I had a sip in a shop, standing there without trying to move, because I'm disabled anyway. I can't run and I don't steal. So he attacked me physically, and it was a horrifying experience, because I thought I was going to fall. I had a broken hip, I had a smashed pelvis, I have 26 screws in my pelvis, I'm very unstable on two legs. I can walk, but I'm very, very unstable, and I can spread my legs to a certain point, but I'm very unstable. I can't walk on every terrain. I cannot do this, because it's just too scary for me. I lose balance and I'm off. I'm down. But the dogs are so good. I train them so good, so well, and they listen so well. They don't pull. They are good. If I sit, they help me get up. If we have to go uphill, they pull so I can walk easily. So I'm teaching them, all sorts of different things. Philip is especially, and they're both very affectionate. When I'm sad, when I cry, they both come up to me, and they just let me lay on them, and we just cuddle up. It's heavenly. It's heaven. I love my dogs than most people. I probably love my dogs more than any person on this planet. I'm sorry to say that. I've had such horrendous experience with people. I just cannot trust anyone, absolutely not. So we're in Spain, and I overheard a female police officer say to me, "Oh, they're going to take the dogs. They're going to take the dogs from her anyway." We were in Paterna, between Paterna and Valencia. There was a really off the road, behind God's back, so to speak, a place where I put up my tent, because wild tenting is not allowed in Spain. So we are always somewhere where we can't be seen from the road, from a street, from a path. We are very much, by ourselves, just to have some peace and quiet. So I left one day to go to a shop, and after I came back, the tent was literally turned. My buggy was thrown onto my tent. All the things were out of my tent, scattered around the tent. And I thought, fuck, mafia took my dogs and raided the tent, and I'm naked now. I'm dead. At the time I felt so scared, so scared. Words cannot express. So crying, I went to the nearest person, and quickly I went to the Paterna police station, and I told them over the phone beforehand as well, and I told them that I need their help. So he says, "Do you want us to look for the dogs?" And I said, "Of course. Why do you think I came here?" So, cut the long story short, I had to go to another police station where, after 10-15 minutes of talking, they said, "Oh, they are in a shelter. Police took them because you left them." Okay, here's my theory. Ella, we are constantly together. She's 1 year old. Even if I'm not in a tent 5 minutes, she would start nibbling on something. Nibbling. She would start breaking things with her teeth. Okay? Not one thing was broken or nibbled on in the tent in Paterna, which I can only think that we've been watched. They waited for me to go because I was talking aloud that I'm going to go, I'm going to come back, I'm going to get food, etc. So they heard us, they heard me, and raided my tent. When I arrived, I came to what I already described as a horror scene. When I collected my dogs the next day, I asked the lady of the shelter, and another woman was present, who came to pick up the dogs apparently. And I said, "Why did you have to raid the tent? Why did you have to be aggressive?" She says, "Oh, we didn't do it. The police did." Yes, police did that. Okay, moving. Okay, I need a pause. Sorry about that. But if I quickly go back to Barcelona, when one day it was raining and it stopped, and all of us passed by Mercadona, close to the main train station, and there were 4 police officers standing just outside the supermercado. And one of them, I will never forget his face. Never, ever I will forget his face. One of them said, "Zorra." And I turned around and stopped, and I turned around and I said, "What did you say?" I knew what it meant. They thought I didn't know what it meant. I knew what it meant. And the other police officer stepped in and he says, oh, he just said good evening or something like that. And I just looked at him very angrily. I continued my way because I didn't have the time and the energy to, slap the bugger. So from Barcelona, we moved to Valencia, and we were in Valencia for a few weeks or some time. And from Valencia, we went to Alicante. And from Alicante, where we were a few weeks, we went to Benidorm. And here, this is the reason I'm actually taping this video. I'm sorry, it's getting dark here now. We are not allowed to travel anywhere. Not by bus, not by train, not by anything. Only by taxi. Okay? And I don't have enough money to do anything. I'm disabled. I can hardly walk. Somehow, by magic, because I needed to go and see a doctor in Alicante, but I couldn't find him. Somehow, we got to Alicante a few days ago. I think it was, what's the date today? I think it was Wednesday, a few days ago. And we got on a tram and we had to change in Marco or something in the center. And there was police, security, and the main lady from a tram. And I'm thinking, what she's doing here? It's like 6, 7 o'clock in the evening. Isn't she home with her children or grandchildren? And so they came up to me, basically, and they said that I can't travel. My certificates are not valid. I have valid certificate. I have a copy from, I don't know if this is making a difference or not. I have valid certificates, I have valid passports, and she says it's not valid. To her, it's not valid, and there are 2 dogs. She says only one can travel. And police agreed. And I didn't want to go because I wanted to make an argument that I can travel as a disabled person. I have the freedom to move anywhere. But she wouldn't allow me, and police stood by her. And because I wouldn't go, police says, oh, let me escort you to we'll talk outside. And I believed him. So I went into the lift, and the door closes. Just 3 of us in the lift. So nobody really wanted to talk to us. And when I asked him his identification number, he was very hesitant, and I wouldn't go without his number because I kept asking for it. And then he just says 1, 2, 3, 4. And I don't believe it was just 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have been like this now that we can't go anywhere for 2 months. Up until recently. Oh yeah, let me just, what happened to Alicante? I said, I can't they won't allow me to take the bus. I can't go by tram. I don't have money for a cab. What do I do? Walk. So we start walking. A 55-year-old woman. Tomorrow is my birthday, by the way. A 55-year-old woman. Several disabilities. With a walking aid. 2 assistance dogs. On a road. Alone. 40 kilometers. And police did nothing. Absolutely nothing. He smiled. He smiled at me. He mocked me with a smile. We walked for about 10 kilometers, and then I just couldn't do it. My hips were hurting, my pelvis was hurting, my knees started to hurt, both of my knees started to hurt, and I could barely walk. So I went to the nearby pharmacy, and I asked for help. And the lady called the police, and the police came, and the police says, "Oh, they're not service." I said, "But you could be human, you know, you're human. Would you let your mother do this to your mother?" So they just left. I asked them for their identification. They wouldn't give it to me, but I got their car number plate number, so I got that. So I have no help but mocking from the police. Nobody. So we walked a little bit further, and we got to the. I saw very plush houses. I said, I'm not gonna walk 9 hours in the middle of the freaking night with my poor dogs. We were both tired, hungry, thirsty. I mean, I had water for them. I fed them before I fed myself, and so I knocked on every door. There were dogs at every house, but they were all outside, and it was already about 11 p.m. All the dogs were outside. None of the dogs were inside with their owners. I found that really extraordinary, disappointing. My dogs were always with me everywhere I went. We sleep under the same roof. We sleep under the same cover. I cuddle skin to skin with them, but they were outside. So we finally got to the end of the street, at the corner, at the end of the street, a really nice gentleman called Pavel opened the door, and I asked him to call me a cab, even though I knew I couldn't pay the cab. But what was more important, I couldn't walk 9 hours. I couldn't. I would drop unconscious, and I couldn't let myself go down that road. So the taxi picked us up. The gentleman also gave me something to eat, which was very nice, and he had a banana which he thought I was going to eat, but Ella ate it instead, and he was very besotted by the fact that dogs can actually eat fruits, and she ate a banana, and he said he never seen a dog eating a banana. So so we got back. The guy from a cab, I told him that I have no money. He called the police, and the police was very angry with me, visibly angry. Like, why do I call him, etc., etc. I think he knew I was sent by. I think they know. They message each other. Also, when we got to the tent at about midnight, the tent was turned around. All my stuff was here in the front. All the stuff was here in the front. So somebody got really, really angry with me. And let me just say this. People don't know where we are. Only police knows where we are. Just so you know. So let me see if I can get a little bit more. Yes, so now here we are in Benidorm. I can't go anywhere. My passport was stolen. Tablets are being stolen on a regular basis from my tent. Zolpidem tablets. Somebody is trying to make me look like a junkie, obviously. Or the necessary things that I need, like 100% that I need, and I will spend money on. About 4 reading glasses have disappeared from Valencia. my two certificates that I had printed out from screenshots from a telephone. They have disappeared one night. Just that, the two, the screenshot, the original from Slovenia, and the English translation. Just that, nothing else. And then the next day, something else disappeared, and almost every week something disappears from my tent. One day my very expensive jacket disappeared from my tent. I think it was about 200 euros. I think I paid for it about 200 euros. It was a very expensive jacket from England. It was waterproof. And the other day also the tablets and a dress and my glasses disappeared. I report to that. I don't report everything, but I started reporting now because I can see it counts. And also my passport. So somebody is trying to make a lot of stroške, a lot of expenses. Like right now, we have to beg to eat. Right now, we have to beg to eat. A year ago, before I left, we left off to this journey. I sold my Boss bag, brand new Boss bag. I never worn it. I bought it really cheap through AliExpress, and I remembered the lady who was supposed to sell it for me, she's not got in touch with me. So I called her up and asked her how much money she got for it. And basically she owes me 80 euros, well, 90, but she needed to pay 10% to Western Union. So Western Union sends me money. She sends me money through Western Union, but I can't withdraw that money because I don't have a passport, because police wouldn't allow me to withdraw the passport. Now, please tell me the police is not targeting me. I feel targeted. I also know I'm targeted through police in plain clothes. People keep touching Ella without asking me. The other day, when I managed to go a couple of stops on a tram, a very young lady, when she touched Ella without even looking at me, and I saw her touching her, and I just moved her hand, like letting her know, don't touch her, because she's my service dog. She started hitting me, kicking me. I acquired quite few bruises, and I went to the nearby hospital, and I was thrown out by security because of two dogs. They knew they were my service dogs. I was thrown out, so we didn't go. When we were in Alicante, while we were walking on our way out of Alicante, I went into a hospital just to go to the toilet, and with the dogs, staff was running around everywhere. Nobody asked me, why are the dogs doing that? Nobody asked me. I said, excuse me, Signora, these are the service dogs. She says, oh, don't worry, all dogs are welcome here. Do you see what I mean? Every time I go somewhere where I'm not expected, people are very nice. The dogs are accepted. Where I'm expected, people are horrible. People don't smile. People are rude. My food gets poisoned. Right now, in a bag, I have a chocolate, which I had 2 days ago. I keep it as a proof. 2 days ago, I had one bite. After 1 minute, I started feeling symptoms, a bunch of symptoms of self-harm, very strong symptoms of self-harm. And because I've been poisoned before, I knew what that meant. I had to drink a lot of water, wait for a few minutes, hang on to the thought that this is just temporary, vomited everything out. As soon as I vomited everything out, I felt normal again. I didn't feel those symptoms again. So please, you tell me. Okay? The next day, I'm by the section where the sweets are, and I'm picking up the sweets, trying to open the bag because I wanted to taste it. And this woman comes by, stretches out, lifts something up, puts it back, and shoots back. So I take the bag of sweets, take it to the tent, and I had quite a bit of them. And again, I start feeling exactly the same symptoms as I did with the chocolate. So what I had to do, vomit everything out. And again, I felt okay. I felt asleep without actually taking zolpidem. So it just looks like somebody's trying to poison me. So this is a message to anybody who's listening. My rights as a human being, my right are being greatly not just disrespected, but overthrown. They are being tempered with, to be very polite. I can't move anywhere. I can't go anywhere. I can't even go to Slovenia. I can't go to see my dying aunt in Germany. I'd like to see my dying aunt in Germany. I'd like to go and see her. I have no chance of doing that. I have to go to Madrid to order a new passport so I can go anywhere. So I can go out of this stupid, horrible country that is causing me and my dogs. My dogs are in such trauma when people shout at me and are being abusive towards me. So most of the time, I'm not abusive towards people because I want to keep my dogs quiet and polite, and so we can go somewhere where they are not traumatized by all the shit that is going on. The shit is going on every day. I stopped going to town because I can't anymore, because my body hurts. I started using the walking aid again because I can't walk anymore, because my body is constantly in pain. We are only here around Finestrat. We are in Finestrat. We don't go anywhere else. And we have to beg for the food. So please, my rights as a human being are being very, very disrespected. And the possibility of me moving anywhere are being totally and utterly cut off. And I need help because I can't do this myself. I have mental issues. I have complex post-traumatic stress syndrome. That's the reason I can't do this video in one piece. I need pauses. I need breaks so I can breathe in and collect my thoughts. So please, I need help. I'm sending this to as many emails possible around the world, hoping that somebody will actually see me and help me, because I've tried to look for so much help, but nobody would help me, let alone police, social services, doctors, nobody. Because you know why? Because the police are spreading lies about me, that I'm dangerous and that I'm a pedophile, which is absolutely not true. So please, Please help. I have nobody to help me because people think I'm a child molester, which I'm not. And for somebody who's been abused in any possible way when I was growing up and as a child, that's an offense. It's very hard to describe. To call child molester somebody who's been in that position, who's been molested themselves, I would never cause a pain to a child. Never, ever, because I know how it feels. So, I'm sending this everywhere. I'm going to make a prayer now. Please, good Lord, make sure that all people who are trying to harm me change their hearts and their minds into good, not evil. Please, good Lord, give to those who have nothing and make who have everything. People, give to those who have nothing. Please, good Lord, keep Philip, Ella, and myself together forever in every form, way, or shape possible. Amen. Thank you.